Morning everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Jan Kielstra. It is Monday today, and usually I would be helping with close-up cows, dry off cows, do some stuff like that. But today I'm going to be feeding cows, just picking up a shift. So get that loader started, tractor started, head over to the silage pits where we can start filling that wagon for the first load, which is going to be the first milk cow load. The first ingredient in our milk cow load every morning is 2 bags from our hammer mill shed. We got the bypass palm fats. 1 bag of each go into each milk cow load, so we feed 2 bags of each a day in total. This is palm fat. So this one I believe we feed for the condition of the cows. It just gives them a little bit of energy. And this one we feed to boost the butterfat content in our milk. So this is a byproduct from people harvesting palm, I guess, in Malaysia. If us dairy farmers didn't feed this stuff, it would just go into a big landfill and go to waste. Instead, we are able to feed it. It's great cow feed, and they produce quite a bit more butterfat as a result of that. And that's what we get paid based on here in Canada, butterfat. So if we can produce more by feeding a byproduct, it is pretty cool. It's kind of a win-win. There was a whole controversy about that palm fat here in Canada a couple of years back about it making butter harder. It was not based on any real facts, and it turned out to be false. So I don't know, people like to get the next exciting big news story without caring who it affects. Definitely was a bit of a worrying thing here in the Canadian dairy industry for a minute. The next ingredients on the list for the milk cow load is forages, and the first one is barley silage. This is already 2024 barley silage. Looked really good, tested pretty good. There's a lot of pretty plump kernels of barley here. So that's a big guy right there. The next ingredient we're going to be feeding is alfalfa silage. It's a little darker than the barley. It's looking pretty good too. This is 2023 alfalfa still. This is the last pile of 23 alfalfa that we have. I actually think it's the last pile of 23 silage. So it's good we're still feeding some from last year. It means we have a good amount of feed. Try to shake the bucket when we grab it, so that when we drive over to the feed wagon, we're not spilling all over the yard. We also try and clean silage off the pit face by pushing it down. If you lift up, you might not make the pit face fall all the way down, but you probably will expose it to oxygen deeper into your pit face. So if you use the edge of your bucket, you go down, 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 and kind of break the silage off the pit face like that, then you will have higher quality feed. Try to keep it clean at the end of every day. So those were the forages, super simple: barley silage, alfalfa silage. We do not grow corn silage. We don't feed rye silage to the milk cows. So now we're heading over to the feed mill where we can fill it up with grains. So here at the feed mill, the ingredients we got in this bin are dried distiller's grain. So that is the byproduct from a distiller, and it's high in protein. The other product we could feed instead of this, there's a whole bunch. It's just the key is high protein byproduct. So another super common one is canola meal, and that's the byproduct from a canola processing plant. Another one is corn meal, so an ethanol plant. That's the byproduct in there. The next one is beet pulp, so that is a highly digestible fiber, and that's from the sugar beet harvest. And then under these bins here, there's a massive pit, and there is whey permeate in there, and that is a byproduct from a cheese plant. So we feed a lot of byproducts here that would otherwise go to waste, but since we have a milking herd, we can feed it to them and they're going to produce some high quality milk. So the final two ingredients we add to our milk cow TMR is peas. These are just straight hammer milled yellow peas, and then straight fall rye. Again, it's been hammer milled, but this is kind of unique. I don't think too many guys are going to be feeding those two ingredients, but that is the cool thing about dairy cow TMRs, is that it's very rare you're going to find two that are the same. Every dairy farm has like one unique ingredient that's local to them, that they can get for cheap, that they'll feed to their cows. And the final ingredient we add is water. We want that milk cow ration to be very wet so that they can't sort any of the tasty grain out from the silage. Cows will do that if you give them the chance. So our ration is usually around 62% moisture. Shut the water off and it's just mixing. We'll let it mix for 15 minutes. Now we're going to scrape the rejects out of the barn. There's not a lot this morning. They finished their feed nicely. So that's the first load in front of the milk cows for the day. These ladies get 2 every day. And let me see, it's around 20 tons of feed total is what goes to our milk herd in a day. So 20 tons of feed. These ladies sure do eat a lot. But that's okay because they produce a lot of milk too. We're all done feeding cows. We're going to start hauling manure now. We're well over halfway done cleaning those curls and putting sand back in. We just got a new drive shaft for the budding manure spreader though. I want to show you guys. It's pretty sweet. The old one, the CV joint was just super loose and you could feel the vibrating of the tractor. So that was going to go at any moment in time. So we figured we'd just get a new one. Interesting to note though, we asked our local budding dealer for a new one and the price on that sucker was $5,100, and we just said okay, we'll see if we can find something cheaper somewhere else, and we went to Nick at Wheatland Tractor and we got this thing for under $3,000. I think close to $2,500 plus shipping, so we would have had to pay shipping I'm sure on the other one. So this is probably less than half. It's not like it's some cheap Chinese thing either. This is a legit, it says made in Italy on the shaft there, and it seems pretty solid. So only time will tell, but it looks as good as the other one. So it's important nowadays more than ever to shop around a little bit for prices. Don't just stick to your, your local John Deere dealer or your local New Holland dealer. We've bought a bunch of parts for our Case and New Holland balers there too, and it's the same story. It was quite a bit less than half of what the other dealers were quoting us. So worst case scenario, you spend an extra couple minutes calling them, finding a price out, and it's the same, and you just buy from your regular dealer. But we have saved already this year a ton of money, like a really noticeable amount of money going to Wheatland Tractor. We also just greased that case loader. Another thing we did was we put a new hydraulic line in here. I showed it, I think, in the last video. There was something leaking, you could see it here. It was leaking pretty good. And we just replaced this line. We wanted to do this line as well as this line. This line, however, is the old one. And that is because they could not make this line at the place that we went to because the hose they had was not strong enough. So this hose right here requires 5,000 PSI up to that much pressure, which is insane. That's an insane amount of pressure. This one only needed to be 2,500 PSI for some reason. They're different, I don't know why, but we always put the extreme cold weather hoses on. You can see here up to minus 46 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So cold weather, I think they call them Arctic hoses or something. Just, try and make everything as tough as possible for when we see those temperatures this winter. So we finally made it out to the Corell. We're doing Corell 2 today. This is our breeding age heifer pen. We already chased the ladies. They're in the chute handling system over there. Gonna get right into this Corell. Just gonna start here in the Corell, kind of get a feel for how deep the muck actually is. We don't want to dig too deep in the beginning. There's no need to scoop out a bunch of sand if we don't need to scoop it out, because we are backfilling these Corells right away, and everything that you scoop out you got to put back in. So there's also sometimes a bit of a ramp left off the edge of the concrete here, that gravel that we put down, which is pretty expensive, so we don't want to damage that if we don't have to either. Slowly start, see where things are at in this Corell, and then we can really get into it. I am really liking parking the manure wagon there. It's pretty practical for the front 5 Corells to just start here. I guess it also depends, like if the Corells are super sloppy like they could be in the spring, doing it right here might not work so good. We'll splash that calf barn completely under crap, and we don't want to do that. So, but for what we're doing now, it's not really wet in the Corells. Manure is for the most part quite solid, so this is working really good. What a sweet first load to bring out to the field. So I made it out to the field. Just gonna take it super slow with the first load on this new shaft. Make sure it's hooked up good with the chains for that safety cover here. And then also, like, I don't know if this slip clutch here is set properly. We're about to find out. If it slips right away, I don't want to be pushing manure through the beaters at the back of this wagon too quickly, because if that slip clutch goes and I'm ramming it through at full tilt and it stalls out, these things will be full of manure, and it will be a nightmare to get them going again. All right, here goes. Well, that looks pretty good. Starting to wrap this Corell up already. Something unfortunate though on this case loader. We still got some leaking hose here. You can see there is fluid draining out of this hose right here, so it's not ideal. Like I said, we replaced the hose up here, but this one still seems to sweat a little bit. So we'll have to get a new hose for that as soon as possible. That is another Corell cleaned out. There's only 3 more to go now. And pen 1, there'll be like 3 or 4 loads tops in that Corell. Pen 5, same thing there, not a lot of manure. Pen 2 is the last kind of big Corell with a lot of manure in it, so we are, you know, getting to that end here. This last load out to the field, my hazards have not been working on the tractor. I do have the dome light, I believe that's called, on the tractor, and then we just go for the battery powered magnetic lights here that we throw on the back of the manure wagon. Just try to stay safe. It gets dark so early now. It's only 7:15 I think, and it's already pitch black, so gotta make the most out of the days. Can't just stop when it gets dark anymore, so. You know where to go. There you go. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.